Welcome back to another weekly analysis video. This analysis is for the week of September 7th, 2025. As always, we're going to start off with a review of last week's price action and then move on into the analysis. So last week I was calling for initially lower prices into 23,328, and we did that, and we actually surpassed it a little bit. I mentioned that I did not want to see this down close candle, this order block here, gone through. However, had it gone through that, I mentioned we would target these lows in the middle of this range, and we may even revisit the lower portion. It did exactly that. Just fell short of the middle of this range here. Targeted these lows, which I did not want to see. I would rather have seen this hold. Took out these lows, ran the stops, came back above this. Notice the close of these candles here. The open and close of these candles here. Above this level here. As one of my mentors once said, ICT. The wicks do the damage, and the bodies tell the story. So the bodies of the candles closed above this level here, and we've sustained higher prices since. We're back into this range, which is good. I want to see this range start holding and propelling price higher. So, again, to recap, we did go lower initially in the week, and then came back above the 23,328 level. So, going forward, I'd like to see more bullish prices, but we'll talk more about that as we progress into the analysis for next week. Moving into the hourly chart here, we have Sunday's open right here. The decline down into 23,328 and past that just fell short of equilibrium of this particular range, which is the middle of this range here as well, taking out the lows and then propelling higher from there, taking out last week's high. We got exactly what we wanted to see into 23,328, and it did pass it. This quick propulsion up like that is indicative of bullish prices, so it will be interesting to see what transpires in the future, and we will discuss that after the review. And now moving on to our 15-minute chart here, we see a more refined view compared to that of the hourly chart. Again, it's important to note the decline down initially in the beginning of the week. Yes, it did go past 23,328. It did not stop where I would have liked it to stop. It did go past that order block here. However, the important thing to note about this week is that the wicks tell the story. The wicks do the damage, and the bodies tell the story. Okay? That's the most important thing that you need to take away from this week. Even though it went through our order block, took out the lows as I said it would if it went past that order block, the important thing is it repelled away from there and moved back into this range in here. So now, we're going to discuss what I expect going into next week. Alright, we're back on our daily chart here. Then we're going to move into the weekly analysis for the week of September 7th, 2025. So what I'm expecting this week is for price to stay in this area here and propel up into 24,057 and beyond that. That is what I would like to see. If price leaves this area to the downside, I do not want to see it go below 23,328 or very much beyond that. I wanted to see it stay within this range, preferably within this range here, within these purple lines. I want to see price stay within this and then rally higher, making new all-time highs. That's what I want to see. And it may not do it this week. It may wait until the later part of September, maybe the middle of September. But I'm expecting new all-time highs to be created. And again, I'm going to continue riding this wave higher until it kicks me off my surfboard. I'm not calling a top. I refuse to call a top. So I am expecting higher prices still, and I want to see it stick within this area. Now onto the hourly chart here. We can see a little bit more detailed view, and I've drawn out the middle or equilibrium of this purple range that we just looked at on the daily chart. Ideally, I'd like to see price go through and absorb this down candle in here. We do have this gap to be mindful of. I do not want to see it show any sort of resistance to go lower. I'd like to see price propel through that and through this range in here. Again, this has been a little bit difficult for us to get through to create new all-time highs past 24,057. So I'd like to see it break out of that and create new all-time highs. I don't want to see any resistance in here to prevent it from going higher. If we start seeing resistance in here, that's not good. That means it may bang around in this area and consolidate and give us a little bit of a headache for us to go higher, or they may start breaking down a little lower. I don't want to see really a lot of resistance in here. So again, the bias for this week is higher prices. I really don't want to see a whole lot of resistance. I want to see it get through this area and extend beyond into here. Alright, moving into our 15-minute chart here. It is worth mentioning before continuing that this week we have CPI as well. So that's a very volatile news event that could propel us higher into 24,057. It could also provide us some whiplash to go lower as well. So we have to keep that in mind. I believe that news event is on a Wednesday or a Tuesday. Now going forward, I'm going to start incorporating mentioning the economic events that are happening for the particular trading week that I'm analyzing. So, okay, back into the analysis. Again, want to see price get through the middle portion of this particular range. Don't want to see any resistance in here. I'd like to see it go through here and make new all-time highs past 24,057. That is the objective for this upcoming week. And again, it may just bang around in here. But seeing that we have CPI this week, I don't see that being the case. I do see CPI being the catalyst to make new all-time highs. Again, before it makes new all-time highs, we could have some whiplash out of this range. So it's important to keep that in mind. Okay, so with that being said, again, the premise behind this week is higher prices with the idea on the back burner that it may bang around this range. But overall, I'm still expecting higher prices. And with that being said, that's going to conclude the weekly analysis for the week of September 7th, 2025. Take care, and God bless.